For 60 years, the Puritans struggled to build their community in the New World. But in the fall of 1689, a fiery new minister and his family arrived in Salem, forever changing the village's destiny.
Samuel Parris had not been a minister for his whole adult life. He had been a businessman and then became a minister. Some people thought he was fine. Some people did not.
Then, in 1692, what began as a family dispute in the Parris household spiraled into an hysteria that had dire repercussions for all of Salem.
This is where it all started. This is the ground zero, really, of the Salem witch trials. This was the home of Reverend Samuel Parris, and this is actually the place where the girls used to come and hear their fortunes told by Parris's slave Tituba.
She taught the girls how to divine the future by floating egg whites in a glass of water. And she taught them other kind of witchy little games that were just intended to be fun and entertaining.
Rumors of these secret games spread to several young women in the community.
You had young girls who didn't have any kind of recreation beyond studying scripture, doing their household chores. And here's this really interesting woman named Tituba. Really interesting. Not like anyone else you've ever met. And she has these folkways, things like seeing your future. Well, that must be completely exciting for a teenage girl who has nothing else. So Tituba starts showing them a few things in the kitchen. Samuel Parris walks in and is furious.
And what do I find here? Come on.
So the girls are frantic that they're going to be beat next. So what do? They go into hysterics.
They start barking like dogs, rolling on the floor, thrashing around, actually at one point throwing themselves into the fireplace and having to be physically dragged out of it. And of course their parents are horrified. You know, what's going on with their children?
Abby! I'll fetch Dr. Griggs.
Dr. William Griggs was called in by Samuel Parris to say, look at my children, what's going on here? He said, well, gee, I can't explain it with medicine. There are fits. Something's clearly agitating the child.
They're bewitched.
And immediately the question becomes, if these two children are bewitched and they're victims, who is the person who's bewitched them?
Reverend Parris presumably really believed that his own daughter and niece were victims of evil magic being projected against them. And parents who think their children are under attack aren't always thinking clearly.
Not wanting to get in trouble, the girls shifted blame entirely onto Tituba.
Who is it that bewitches you? Tell me!
It's Tituba.
Believing that a confession would keep her from being jailed or tortured,
Are you a witch?
Tituba's words confirmed the Puritans' deepest fears.
I asked you, are you a witch?
I am a witch!
The town now believed that Satan was in their midst, and their perfect utopia was crumbling. But Tituba went one step further, alleging that two other women in the community were witches. She claimed they had all been visited by the devil.
She talked about a tall man with a book who came to her and she had to sign the book. It was believed that you made a pact with the devil and he would take your soul, but in return for that, you had powers.